Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlock tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Step in the ring, chaos is your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title bells, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks poppin', who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am one of your hosts, one of the mixed tag team of podcast hosting, I guess you could say, the legend J Mac. With me as always is the red, white, and bruised Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And the first lady of podcasting, the Vipers.
Hi, everyone.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about wrestling families. Some you know, some you don't know. Like, I really went down a rabbit hole here, and I didn't realize that some of these people were kin, and I mean, some by marriage, some by other ways, but I had no clue. I mean, you got the obvious ones like the Harts,
Yes.
you know, and I mean, I didn't know that as many of the Hart brothers were actually wrestlers. They were just wrestlers in Canada, like Bruce and some of the other ones. They just quit wrestling and became like firefighters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm kind of like you. Like I said, like the more research that I dug into, I realized that wrestling is in essence a family business all in itself. Like
Big
I
time.
mean, like the McMahons are 4 generations. I mean, the Rocks, what are they, like 3-4 generations? Probably more. I don't, depending on cousins and shit. The Hennings, the Harts and shit like that.
DiBiase's.
The DiBiase. I mean, it really is a family because I'm pretty sure growing up, I mean, like, business were kind of passed from their sons. Their sons kind of took over. And
because of the territories.
because of territories.
Yep.
And then if you look at McMahon, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't his, of course, Vince bought it from his dad, but his dad got it passed down from his father and shit.
Even the promoters.
Yeah.
Not just the wrestlers. They're second, third generation
And I think
promoters.
a lot of it has to do where kids and family grow up in this lifestyle, seeing your father on television, seeing, traveling, being on the road, living the grind,
When you watch your dad fixing cars all day, you kind of learn how to fix cars.
Like you want to be a mechanic. And if your dad's running around being a wrestler, then you probably want to be a wrestler too and shit. So, like, it only makes sense, but to know how deep it goes and how many families there are, because like when I started reading, I mean, like there are a ton of families. I mean, I can name off at least probably 10 or 15 right off the rip that I didn't even know that had 3rd generation, 4th generation wrestlers in it, whether it be, kids, children, father, through marriage also and stuff. I mean, like, it is incredible how family oriented that wrestling really is when it comes down to it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to, well, this is a redundant question to Uncle Slam. I know who the number one's going to be, so go ahead and tell us who your 2 and 3 families of wrestling are going to be there, Uncle Slam.
That's pretty easy. I'm pretty sure I already know. Now, if I had to choose, my top, of course, my number one's always going to be the Hart family. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, that's a give me. Bret Hart.
Do it.
Stu Hart. I mean, they built a foundation, a legacy in Canada and shit.
I can't deny. No, I'm not a fan of Bret, but man, Owen's probably one of my favorites.
That's what a lot of
I
people
respect Owen a lot more now going back and looking at his matches. He was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you got the Hart, the father that started it, and then, not only did he have, 10, 12 kids or some shit like that?
12.
And, like, if it
12
wasn't...
kids.
And, like, if they
Excuse
didn't
me?
wrestle, then they fucking
Became
were...
firefighters.
No, they were writing books about wrestling.
Oh,
they
yeah,
were in
yeah.
the business, so, like...
Or married wrestlers.
Yeah, or married wrestlers. I'm pretty sure the saying was because they had what it was like 8 boys and 4 girls. Either you became a wrestler or you married a wrestler.
Yep.
That was what they used to say. And then you got to figure all of the
Because this is a wrestling family.
yeah, all the people that came through the dungeon, like Chris Benoit,
Jericho,
Brian Pillman, people like that, like all these
Davey Boy.
like all these.
Well, I don't know if Davey Boy came through there. He may have been trained in England.
No, but he's part of the family. I mean,
Right.
He's family.
Well, he was. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I'm sure he got stretched a few times by
Yeah.
Stu.
So I mean, of course, that's my number one. I mean, that's just too easy. Now, if I'm going to go second, I mean,
Let me before you go on to your second. Let me ask you a question. As such a big fan of the Hart family, this is my opinion, and I want to see what you think about this. I am of the opinion that the reason Brett was so competitive behind the scenes with Owen, because Owen would rib Brett about, I'm the best, don't you? I'm better than you, don't you? Blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Do you think that the reason that he got so serious about it was because he knew Owen was better? Because I believe Owen was Brett, technically, but with better athleticism.
Like a 2.0 type.
Yes. He could actually do
Owen
things off the
younger?
top rope. Huh?
Is Owen younger?
Yes.
So
What is your assessment of that? Do you think that Owen was Brett, but just more athletic?
See, like
And that's what made
it's
Brett
hard for me
kinda
to
compete
actually
so hard.
say that because I'm always going to be a Bret
Bret
Hart,
Head.
Bret Hart fan as my number one wrestler. Probably, I mean, just because that's who I've always loved. I believe that there's always a sibling rivalry between brothers and stuff. You're always gonna have that competition. You're always gonna have that.
Right.
I want to be better. I want to beat him and shit. I don't think it was any malice to it. I think it was just
Brotherly competition.
yeah. Competition between.
But
two brothers.
it was the person. I think Owen was kind of the guy he measured himself against.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he knew his brother was that good.
Now, I think Owen benefited a lot from, Brett's kind of leadership, but I think he would have been better on the mic. I think he would have been a better on the mic than Brett was. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I
Now,
agree.
Technically, I don't know if he would have been better athletic-wise. I think he was a little bit better when it came to that and shit. But like I said, I mean, the Hearts always have a special place.
I was just interested
yeah.
in your opinion, but do remember one thing about Owen.
What?
He is not a nugget. Woo!
Shut up. I can't stand you. Sorry. My second favorite would have to be the McMahons. Honestly, I mean, because
Yeah.
you couldn't
The
have
McMahon
wrestling
family.
like if
Without
you
them, I was going to say
did,
the
I
same
mean, they
thing.
are. I mean, their blood, sweat, and tears go back. Like I said, 4 generations of wrestling. I mean, they changed wrestling to what it is now. I mean,
I never even wrote that down, but I like.
I mean, they
yeah.
are. I mean,
You're
they are the
right.
first family of wrestling. I mean, if it wasn't for them, what we watch now wouldn't be here. I mean, they crafted and created. I mean, with their family, what wrestling is right now and stuff. I mean, it took vision. It took a little danger. Now, I'm not going to take away from the bad either. Now, I mean, there's some shit that they did, and it's not all good. I mean, we know. I mean, I don't have to go in details of all the bad shit because we've already covered, Vince
Other
McMahon,
episodes, yeah.
once before. But you can't deny their contribution to what wrestling is today. They created what it is. They made it the juggernaut.
Just like in our Benoit episode,
Yeah.
you got to separate the good and the bad.
So, to Vince, to Stephanie, to Linda, I mean, I guess you could throw Triple H since he's part of the family now and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they are probably one of the most influential families in wrestling.
Yeah.
So you got to give them their credits. I mean, like I said, I would say they're probably the most important. My favorites are always going to be the Hart, but as far as importance, the McMahon's got to be up there. Number 3, I would probably go. Personal favorite would be the Rhodes. I love the Rhodes. I'm sorry, like Dusty Rhodes. Just listening to him talk, I listen to him talk all day. I mean, for a big man to shake and jive and dance and his wordplay, I mean, he was better on the mic than he ever was wrestling and shit. I mean,
I want Dustin to come back to the WWE and finish his story. Let him have I don't care about the WWE Championship. Let him have the world title one time. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Let him come back and just surprise, boom, even if it's just for a month till the next pay-per-view, just so Dustin Rhodes can go out saying he was a WWE champion.
I would love to see that myself. I don't see it happening, but like the family, just the Dusty Rhodes, like I said, I mean, legend, but his son, especially Cody. I mean, I like Cody Rhodes, and I fuck with him, but Dustin Rhodes, Goldust, whatever you want to fucking call him. I mean, he was.
I think he's the best out of all three.
I think he can do everything that everybody else can do.
Yes.
And all together. Now, I think he caught a lot of shit from the Goldust shit but like I said, that was the Attitude Era, so
he was going through a lot of addiction things there too, and he just was like funding his addiction.
And so like, but at the same time, Goldust was a very controversial person. He did push a lot of boundaries, and he did have a lot of good fucking matches.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like him and Mark Merrill had a lot of good matches together.
Oh, well, he was just, I mean, him against anybody, it's Dustin. He could have a sound match with a paper bag. You know what I'm saying? He was just that good.
I mean, those are one. Them, I'd say the Hearts and the Rose are probably my emotional favorite.
My most memorable thing about Dusty though is, let me tell you about Hard Times, Ric Flair.
Love it.
Hard Times, Ric Flair. While he's standing there with a big old mink coat on, let me tell you about Hard Times. No, he wasn't. He was in a suit that one. I don't want to say it. But yeah, I love old Dusty, man.
But yeah, Dusty was. He was good on the mic. I mean, he was the shit. Probably another one I'd say is probably really influential would have to be the Wyndhams.
God, yeah.
And I was shocked to learn that Bray Wyatt was a Wyndham. Never knew that. Was totally shocked. But like now that I know it, I'm not surprised, and I can kind of see it too, or whatever.
And they're like it's a because their dad was Blackjack Mulligan.
I thought it was even longer. I thought his dad was before him.
Yeah, his
dad. It might have been a fourth generation.
I think you're right because it was. I know for sure Blackjack Mulligan and then Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda because they're brothers, and who would have known that? And see who thinks of when they think of great brother tag teams, nobody puts them on any list.
They don't even look alike.
They
look
don't.
At them. I mean,
but they were the U.S. Express tag team champions in the WWE, and nobody thinks to put them in great brother tag teams.
Who do you think was bigger, Barry or?
Barry by far. Barry had the Four Horsemen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Rotunda did good, but Rotunda jumped back and forth too much.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Barry jumped a couple of times.
Yeah,
but Barry
were they tag team champions for a while? I'm pretty sure Rotunda.
They weren't tag team champions for very long in the WWF because right after they lost them to the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov at WrestleMania 1, they left, and that's whenever Barry debuted in the NWA. And if I'm not mistaken, Rotunda wasn't too far after. Because Rotunda was part of the Varsity Club with Rick Steiner and Kevin Sullivan and all that group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's like crazy how many families I won't get into it. I'll let you go ahead with your top three Vipers.
Well, I guess the McMahons are always at the top of mind because without them there is no wrestling or there is no WWE.
I have to agree with both of y'all on that.
No matter what has happened in life or what whoever has done and this, that, and the other, without the McMahons, it would not exist.
I have to.
We wouldn't be sitting
agree.
here. I think the other top one for me is the Anoa'i family.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't talk wrestling without them. And
That's
shit.
right. You really can't.
Dude, I jumped down a rabbit hole with this one. This one, it baffled me. I didn't even know half the shit that I found out, but like
pretty much every Samoan, I would say.
Yeah, like every Samoan that has ever wrestled.
Like I hate to be stereotypical, but it's almost, except for I think Samoa Joe was not part of one of them.
No.
He's the only one.
But like that's the thing, they're not actually blood related. A lot of them aren't even blood related.
It's like marriage, it's like blood.
They had a ceremony, like a blood oath ceremony to make these two families one family,
Yeah.
and they would take care of each other through life
Yeah.
and through wrestling.
Oh wow! See,
Yeah,
I didn't know
they-
anything
So
about
like
that.
The
dude,
Rock,
the Samoans
The
take it
Rock
so
is
serious.
not related to Roman Reigns by blood, only by blood oath.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know anything about
Yes.
I didn't either.
Now there's no written down record of what happened during the ceremony. That's, for whoever was there, but there is documentation that it did happen. It was with I have it written down here, I'm so sorry. Between the dad of Afa and Sika, and then The Rock's grandfather.
Peter Maivia.
Yes, them two. It was them two that had decided
So
that
the Maivias and the Anawai family,
are not
blood related, but they are
blood oath
related.
related.
Well, I'm sure probably in Samoan culture, That
that's
probably-
what fascinated me so much. I love culture.
that probably that's probably their way of marrying two families together or something to
See,
make
I thought the
them.
same thing.
Kind of like you were talking about with the Hearts.
Yeah.
You marry you
Marry into the
either-
family,
You
yeah.
either you marry a wrestler or you become a wrestler. You
Yeah,
know.
but once that happened, anybody that was born into their either family was taken care of.
They're
like,
legally considered.
They're legally considered brothers and cousins and aunts
That's
and
crazy.
uncles and stuff like that now.
That's
Since
crazy.
that blood
That's kind of
oath.
cool, though. You know.
Yeah.
But it runs deep, like I said.
It does.
It
That
runs
family
so
tree is huge.
deep.
I
Oh
mean,
my
I-
goodness.
I mean, yeah, because I'm looking at just some of the names. I mean, and this is just the main ones and shit. You got, like you said, Rocky Johnson, Yokozuna, Rikishi, Umanga, Tongan Kid, The Rock, Roman Reigns, Jay Uso, Jimmy Uso, what was it?
Tamina
Sola-
Snuka.
Yeah, Sola. I mean, the name, and it just goes on, honestly. And shit.
Well, like Haku,
yeah.
he's not blood related, but Rock said in an interview, "Man, that's Uncle Tonga."
See, that's what I'm saying.
So like, and
It's
that's
gotta be
why.
somewhere along that
Right. That's why
bloodline.
Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao were brought in as the bloodline because they're.
I mean, they basically are.
Well,
shit.
yeah, they were always around each other. He said, Rock said, I don't remember a time when Uncle Tonga wasn't around.
See,
Brothers
that's what
but
I'm
no mothers. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
They just, and you know what it was, honestly and truthfully? I'm going to be honest with both of you. With the families and the way it was, I think what it was where they also promoted, they seen the business from not just the performer side, they seen the business from the promoter side. And they were like, this is a very, and I hate to say this, but it's just true, back in the day, it was a very racist business. If you were black or, of another ethnicity, you probably weren't going to be world champion. You know what I'm saying? You get, the highest mid-card championship you get, but they probably weren't going to put
Well,
the
like
belt
Jim
around
Ross
your waist.
told, was it R-Truth, and he was told by that, wrestling's still the white man's
Right.
sport
Right.
or whatever.
And it's and it still bleeds over a little bit today too, unfortunately. But I think what they did was they just came together and said, "Look, we're all Samoans, whether we're blood or not. We're family.
We need to take
We've
care of
got
each
to
other."
take care of each other in this business.
Right. I
We
agree.
can all be rich,
I
but
can see
let's
that.
watch each other's back." And I think that's why their family thrived, is because there was just no backstabbing.
I think it was more. I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent on that, but I think a lot of it has to do with like the cultural. To them, I
Right.
think wrestling
Family was everything. Is everything.
Right.
it's not just wrestling. It's part of their culture. Like it's part of like who they are. I think family
At the core.
and I think their culture also bleeds into a lot of the wrestling.
Yes.
As far as they take a lot of their heritage and they put it into
Yep.
who they are and their characters.
Like the Usos used
Yeah.
to come out with the dance
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
and all that. So, and I think it's just like part of them is that's what they do. They just kind of look out for each other.
Yeah.
Like it is a sense of family.
Let's
You know,
protect each
you
other.
know how we always talk about wrestling as a family. I think they really embrace that more than anything.
Yes.
As far as we're a family, we're going to look out for each other because we're all we got out here. Because I mean, when you think about it, I mean, there is no union in wrestling, so you have to look after your other.
And that's what I'm saying. They were like, there's no guarantees that my son is going to be successful in wrestling. But if we, he may flop, but we're not going to let him get screwed over either, because we're going to all stick together and, make sure that in this business, none of us get screwed over and don't get the right opportunities. And we're going to fight for that, not because we're blood, but because we're all Samoan. And we're not going to let that be something that stops us from succeeding because of the nature of the business back then.
Yeah, because there is a lot of backstabbing, and unfortunately, a lot of people have that whole crab in a barrel mentality. I'm only worried about myself. I'm trying to get to the top. I don't care who has to push down. And I think they realize that that's not the way it works. That you have to help somebody to kind of get yourself up. And like once you do get up, you kind of give them a hand and shit. So I mean, they to me are probably one of the pure wrestling families as far as how deep and how long their lineages go.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like. Probably 5th generation, 6th generation. I don't know. Maybe even farther.
Right. It's crazy long.
I can only go back 4, so I mean, I'm sure there's more documentation
probably.
than that, but I couldn't find anything else. But it makes me want to. I love religion, or not religion, but like religious type things.
I love learning other people's
type
cultures.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Samoan culture is just fascinating.
You don't have to believe what other people believe just to learn what they believe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you learn what they believe, it could probably give you a little more
Teach you something
understanding
about life.
of the people themselves, to
Exactly.
where we could find some commonality.
Yeah.
Just saying, didn't mean
Like
for it
it's
to
more
bleed
about
over.
it's more about taking care of each other than it is about
That's exactly it.
trying to be the number one in wrestling. Or
If
whatever.
nobody else is going to look out for us, we're going to
will.
look out for each other.
Absolutely. And I think that's the reason why they're probably, other than the McMahons, are probably my most favorite family. With
So who would you say is your third?
I don't know if I really have a third, really. I mean...
Well, and to be fair, like she said in other episodes, she's fairly new to the wrestling game. So,
I'm
like,
still
all the
learning.
old families that we know, that we're watching second, third
you're watching...
generations, you're watching them for the first generation.
Okay. Well, I'm watching Rey Mysterio.
Right.
And
Eddie
Dominic
Guerrero.
Mysterio, and I'm loving
Dominic, yeah.
and I'm loving watching Dominic grow as
Yep.
a person. Like from the time that I watched him when he was a kid.
Yep.
Was
Till
he
now.
or wasn't he Eddie's child? I don't.
I
know.
remember
We
that
don't
storyline.
know.
Yeah. I was
You
gonna
know?
ask. I was like, is he really his kid?
Yeah, and I was like, we don't,
I don't
know,
know.
but like I've loved how I've
But see-
watched him flourish as a person and as a wrestler.
Even
and,
to think that he's like a fourth generation.
yeah, see, I was gonna say that
Because of, like,
he is
Rey
fortunate.
Mysterio Sr. wasn't Rey Mysterio Jr.'s dad.
Oh, really?
That was his uncle.
Yeah.
He just took on the name Rey Mysterio Jr. because Jr. just meant the second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he's basically Rey Mysterio too.
Mm-hmm.
But like I believe like their Rey Mysterio Sr.'s dad was a wrestler in Mexico too, if I'm not mistaken. I don't hold me to that. I'm not certain of that, but I believe I've heard that before. But like it blows your mind. Like, well, like, okay, so like I got this is what kills me. It's like I never knew some of these. Like, you will never believe who Eddie Guerrero and Vicky Guerrero's son-in-law is.
Son-in-law?
Son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
So like their daughter's husband?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a wrestler.
Oh shit.
Doesn't wrestle in WWE anymore, but he did. And I'll give you another hint. He was in a tag team. And after his tag team split up, he was kind of the ring announcer for Rusev Day.
The only thing I remember from Rusev Day was when Joe Hendry was their lawyer.
Aiden English.
Why don't I remember that?
The guy that was part of the Vaudevillains.
I need a picture. My memory's
I'm
kind of
getting a
shot.
picture. What was his name?
Yes, Aiden English.
It's that old age.
I was like, what?
Oh. Okay.
That's Eddie Guerrero's show
Okay,
Uncle
yeah,
Slam.
Sorry. Hold on, let me go back. And I don't know if this is working.
That's when he shaved his head.
See,
There
there's
he
here
is.
from Rusev Day.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Eddie Guerrero's son-in-law.
Dude.
If Eddie Guerrero was still around, of
didn't-
course.
I forgot all
So-
about that dude. I'm so sorry.
Do you remember? You won't remember this guy.
Probably
He was a big name in the AWA and in the Portland area, but then once he got to like the WCW, he was kind of like Saturday Night Main Event enhancement talent. But do you remember Playboy Buddy Rogers? Big fat guy.
I remember the name.
Blonde hair, had it cut like in a He-Man type style.
Yeah. Okay.
Guess who he is the brother-in-law of?
Brother-in-law of. I don't know who.
Doink.
Oh hell no.
Matt Bourne. So, Nick Patrick, the referee.
Yeah.
His dad was a famous territorial wrestler known as the Assassin.
No, I didn't know.
Jody Hamilton. Let's see. Alex Wright, you remember Das Wunderkind?
Yeah.
His dad was a British wrestler back in the day. Do you remember the Undertaker versus Undertaker thing?
Yes.
Well, the other Undertaker was
The other
professional
Undertaker?
wrestler Brian Lee, which was the Undertaker's cousin.
Oh, okay.
So Jake the Snake Roberts' is family.
Yeah.
His dad was Grizzly Smith.
Mm-hmm.
His sister was Rockin' Robin, I believe.
Oh.
It's Rockin' Robin or Wendy Richter one. I always get it mixed up. I can't remember, but I believe it's Rockin' Robin. And his brother was Sam Houston.
And they're all fucked up thanks to their father.
That's very
Oh my
true.
God.
All fucked up.
Because of
All
Grizzly
fucked
Smith.
up. That man is a fucked up individual.
But yeah, that's like a huge family. I never knew about until recently. I mean, like you said, if I had to go top 3 families, this is going this hurts me here. Cause I'll go to my grave never putting them at number 1, but I'll give them a top 3 spot. And I'll put them at 3, but the Hearts.
What? Say it again, please. What'd you say?
Hearts.
Say it with pride. Put some heart into it. Come on.
Literal heart.
That hurt. But I'd put them at 3.
Well, they did produce some impressive people.
They
so.
did. And I have a hard time not putting the Wyndham Rotundas at number 1 just because of all the talent that they literally had out
Right.
there. I mean, but it's so hard to put one family number 1 because of so many, but I'm just a huge Barry Windham fan. I think Barry Windham got passed over so much for world title shots. He could have been world champion, but I also think that Barry Windham was just like they said, as long as he had a little money in his pocket and, whatever, he was cool. He was happy, he didn't worry about titles and stuff like that. He just loved to wrestle.
I think you're skipping over a couple. What about the Pontiffs?
The who?
The Pontiffs. I'm probably killing the name. Macho Man's family.
Oh, the Poffos.
Poffos. Okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Because he had a brother.
Leaping
and
Lenny
then
Poffo.
And then his dad was a
The
wrestler.
Genius,
too.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many. Like I said, it's hard to put them
Also,
up there.
don't forget the Funks.
The Funk's huge family,
Oh,
and
yeah.
historical family too.
Is Terry Funk still wrestling? Please.
No, Terry Funk died, I think.
That's
Yeah,
probably the only thing. That
If he
stopped
hasn't died, he's in a home. I know that because I know Mick Foley was trying to help him out and
him.
stuff
Oh
and
my God,
everything.
that man would not stop wrestling.
No.
All them ECW matches. Oh my God,
yeah,
please.
death matches and everything.
Barbed
It was
wire
crazy.
matches. Oh my God, shit.
But honestly and truthfully, if I had to go number 1 family of all time for myself, it's a family that's none of them were, that I know of, were blood related or anything like that. But I mean, you don't get no better than the Heenan family.
I was wondering if you were going to.
I mean, we didn't specify, what if you had to be blood. No, I'm just joking. I do love the Heenan family. But I don't know. It's just too hard to put a number 1 up there. There's just so many great families out there. So many, families that I didn't. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert. He was married to Missy Hyatt and to Medusa.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I had no idea about that. And he's
Keep it
like
in the
a
business.
second, third generation star. His brother was a wrestler too, Doug Gilbert. Their dad, as a matter of fact, Eddie Gilbert and his dad wrestled together in the WWF before Hulk Hogan got there. And Eddie was actually getting ready to get a huge push. And then Hulk Hogan came in, and all that went to crap.
Went to hell because
Yeah.
he came back.
But Eddie Gilbert, man, I would really like to do a dive into Eddie Gilbert.
They were
'cause-
just showing him a minute ago on TV.
yeah, they did a Dark Side of the Ring about him.
Oh.
He was ahead of everybody, and people didn't realize it. Like, he didn't even really want to wrestle; he just wanted to book. But of course, being in the business, you had to do what you had to do and everything.
All right, but one quick family that I think we kind of have to talk about that we can't gloss over is the Von Erichs.
Oh gosh,
Because their story is probably one of the most tragic but most interesting stories that I've ever heard. Because I started watching the movie a couple days ago. I haven't finished it or anything.
Iron Claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, they left a lot of stuff out, but it's a
Oh,
good
yeah,
movie.
yeah, definitely. Because they only showed 4 brothers and there were 6 of them.
Yeah.
But only, out of the 6, only one of them survived.
Yeah.
And so they talk about the curse and shit. And
Yep,
most of them
Von
died by
curse.
their own hands.
Yeah.
I think the first one died, I think they were with a kid or something.
Yeah.
Like 6
Yeah.
years old or whatever. And they either died or was it like...
I think he drowned or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he had like a seizure or something. He fell in, I think he drowned or something in some water. And then that started the whole supposed curse or whatever. But then the one guy, his intestines ruptured, when he went over
Oh,
to
David
to
in Japan, yeah.
And
He
then-
was the one that they were billing that was going to be the guy that succeeded Ric Flair.
Yeah. And then they had 2, I think, that shot themselves. And I think one...
Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado,
Yeah.
shot himself.
And then another one of the brothers
Yeah.
shot himself.
I think that was Mike.
Yeah. And then was there like a drug overdose or something in one? Or
I don't remember.
Or like, am I mistaken?
I don't remember. I don't want to say yay or
So
nay,
sad.
but I know drugs were involved with
Yeah.
the family a lot, so it wouldn't surprise me if one
But yeah,
was.
out of 6 sons, like only one's still alive.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that.
And his 2 sons are a tag team on AEW.
I saw that.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
like when I was
What?
doing my research. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Von Erich, he comes out there with his
Yeah,
2
he
sons.
does. You're-
Yeah,
yeah.
he's one of the Von Erichs. I never even thought about that, but yeah, they are. It's a tragic story because there was not one of them boys, and some of them didn't want to do it. But just like the Hearts and everything, it's the family business.
Family,
you
yeah.
know.
And
You
the
know.
movie now, I don't know if I don't know if the movie was right on the portrayal of the father because he seemed like kind of a dick. It was like my way or the highway type deal. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. Like they didn't really have a choice. If Dad said you're going to wrestle, you're going to fucking wrestle, and they were kind of like, okay, Dad said I'm going to wrestle, so I'm going to wrestle now and shit.
I think Fritz was kind of like that.
Um,
From what I've heard, he was kind of a hardcore, old school dad.
old school type deal.
But I mean, just the fact that there's not one of those kids. Well, I don't want to say not one of them, but there's a good amount of them, at least half of them, that could have been a world champion
Oh,
in
he-
any federation. You know what I'm saying? I think it's sad. If it wasn't for his drug problems, I think Kerry would have got a longer run with the NWA title. I hate that it was just like a week run or something like that, a week-long run. I don't know. It seemed like trivial. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like, do you really even call him world champion? Because, I mean, yeah, he beat Ric Flair, but, like a week later, Ric Flair beat him back, so it's like, But, like, just to know that I don't know if you know this, did you know that he wrestled on a prosthetic leg?
Actually, I did hear that.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
did hear
you
that.
know,
It wasn't that long ago I heard that. Actually.
I mean, to me, that he hit it that
Insane.
long.
Yeah, and he
I
hit
never
it for
knew.
like 2
Yeah.
3 years.
Never.
I would have
yeah.
never guessed watching him wrestle.
No.
Doing drop kicks and
Mhm.
spin arounds.
And I had a grandfather
all
that had a prosthetic leg, and he couldn't hardly walk, let alone wrestle.
And the thing of it is like, if I'm not mistaken, when he wrestled Ric Flair was after he had just lost the foot.
How did he lose the foot though?
So after David died, this is the way they say it in the movie. After David died, he like just, kind of wigged out, got on his motorcycle, and just took off.
Yeah.
And he was going so fast, he wrecked, and the motorcycle like crushed his ankle and everything.
Okay.
So instead of waiting and rehabbing and all that
just
stuff,
cut it off?
he told him cut it off.
Are you fucking
dude?
serious?
Yep.
The fuck,
Told him to
dude?
cut it off
Oh
and
my
learned how
God.
to and put a prosthetic on. Learned how to wrestle real quick.
Oh,
If that ain't dedication, I don't know what is.
I couldn't imagine being a wrestler being like, yeah, cut off my fucking ankle.
Just cut it off.
Just cut it
Well, look
off.
at Ronnie Lott. Got my pinky
yeah,
off.
Yeah, just cut it off so I can go back in the game.
All right,
Nah.
But that's a pinky. That's a pinky.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not an ankle and a whole ass foot.
I can do things without
Just chop the
this.
foot off. I don't need it
Yeah,
that much.
right.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll
It's
learn
just-
to be without it.
It's crazy, man.
Oh,
it's
God.
like I remember when the rumors were going around that the Ultimate Warrior was one of the Von Erichs.
I can see that now. Like I can
Yeah,
see why
probably,
somebody would
yeah.
think that just because the look or whatever.
Yeah.
All the fringe and tassels
Yeah.
and all that stuff and everything.
But I think that was just more or less the style back then or
I
whatever.
do too, especially and I think honestly and truthfully, I think Kerry Von Erich started wearing his boots like that to hide the prosthetic a little bit too.
Yeah, that would make a whole lot more sense.
Because
That
I
makes
remember
sense.
there was a match that somebody grabbed a hold of his leg, and he kept telling them before the match, if you're going to work my leg, make sure you work my right leg, not my left, because the left's the prosthetic.
and then grab the wrong one.
Right, and he ended up grabbing the wrong one, and Kerry was trying to stop him, and he twisted, and the whole thing twisted around.
Oh,
Holy
fuck.
shit.
Are you-
I bet
Right.
that would
During
have
a
freaked
match?
everybody
During a
out,
match,
yo.
like the whole prosthetic twisted
Oh,
around. So the
fuck.
fans are
That's
sitting there
crazy.
like, what the hell's going on here?
Oh.
So
I can't even with
So
that.
I think that was another reason why
Yeah.
he started wearing the tassels.
Yeah.
Was to kind of hide anything, like if there was any twisting motion or anything in
That
the
makes
boot.
sense.
I-
That makes a lot of sense.
Here's one that I did not know. Did you know that Carmella is a second generation wrestler?
She is.
Who? now?
Carmella.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Moneymaker Carmella and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, she's second generation. Her dad
Money,
was he was
money, honey.
he was a enhancement talent. Paul Vandello, but he wrestled under the name of Paul Van Dale.
I don't remember the name.
Yeah.
But he was just
I mean, I knew that she was a second generation.
I
I just
did
didn't
not
know
know
who
that.
her dad was.
it's like I don't know. I like it's crazy, like you said. It's crazy how much these families are
I mean,
intertwined in this.
It's
But
a family business.
it is.
because
How
it's in
much
their
of a
blood.
family
Like
business
I
it is.
think the truest thing ever said is like it's in my blood.
yeah.
You know?
Like I can understand why like the Von Erich kids are trying to become a tag team. You got all these young kids that are second
It's
generation.
who they are. It's
Well,
who they.
The
it's in
Rock's
their
daughter
genes.
tried
Oh yeah.
in
No,
NXT.
Ava is.
Is she still
GM.
there?
She's GM of NXT currently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, okay, so that's her.
I did
That's
not
The Rock's
like
daughter.
her at first,
Okay,
but
okay.
she's kind of growing on me. She's
Okay.
getting a little bit better at her stuff. But yeah, she is current GM of NXT and doing a
See?
pretty good job.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. So that's even another generation of the.
Yeah, that's another generation on top of that.
The Rock's family. It's crazy how
'Cause I-
far it's going. It's
It
like
was
Now-
the first for that generation.
If you were a wrestling family, would you want your kids to go into wrestling and shit?
Probably.
Knowing,
I don't know.
like knowing what it involves, the travel, the being away from family.
It's getting better by the
right
day.
with the
So I
business
would-
now. Yes, I would
business back then,
encourage.
hell
it.
no.
I mean, like you're still on the road a lot. I mean, it's
You
still,
are.
I mean, it's still hard to have a family. Like if,
But it's a
you're
lot
on
more luxurious, and it's a lot. And
I would
there's-
say luxurious. If
You're
you're one of the
taken
top
care of
talent,
better.
I mean, like if you're one of the top talents, yes, then your shit's a lot better than everybody. But like if you're just starting out and you're just one of the regular guys, I think it's more driving in cars, staying in Motel 8s and shit.
It is, but I don't think it's as horrible as because
I think it's gotten better.
right? Because and what I mean is in it's gotten better and it's not as horrible. Is back in the day, you had to pay for your own rental car.
Yeah.
Now the company picks that up. You got a car waiting for you, blah blah blah. Not necessarily a driver, but you
Yeah.
got a rental car to get to the next place. Just drive it, drop it off. You know what I'm saying? We'll take care of the rest. We got people that do that,
Yeah.
you know, for us and everything now. I think that's some of the things that have gotten better. It's not, you're able to save more of your money and take care of your family a lot better now in the business than as, like, look at Mick Foley. That man pinched every penny he could. Like, I mean, he would grab bags of popcorn from the concession stand that they were going to throw away just to eat on the road trip,
I know.
so that he didn't have to stop and get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was doing it for his family.
But
Right.
like, given the wear and tear that it puts on your body, are you still okay with that? Because just like any pro athlete, there's a lot of physicality involved, and it does break you down. I mean, most wrestlers, like I said, they quit because of injuries and shit.
This is my thing. Would you stifle your kid's dream if it was the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball?
I wouldn't stifle any dream.
I
There
wouldn't
you
try to stifle like any dream. I would also be real about it, though.
Right.
I would
Right.
let them know that, hey, in the NFL and the NBA,
Risk versus reward.
you know, most of these people don't make it. Most of these people,
Right.
you know, like I said, when they get out of the NFL or NBA, they're broken 5 years. Most of them, you know, don't have anything saved. They don't have another job and shit. So I would have to be 100% real, know the pros and the cons that go with it before I would. Now, I mean, I'm not going to say the fame's not going to be worth it. I'm not going to say the money's not worth it. But like I said, you give up a lot of time. There's a lot of sacrifice involved. There's a lot of, to get a lot, like you have to give a lot.
I agree.
And I don't know, at my age right now, being a 45, 46-year-old man,
How'd it go from 44 up to 46, man?
don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Anyway,
Hey, I did the same thing.
but I would say no. But like, if I was 20, I can't say that I wouldn't be able to travel, be on the road, be able to have a chance to make the money and the fame. And
I would encourage them to first get an education. Get a degree, just in case that
See if there's
doesn't work
anything
out.
else you'd like to do too, because
Right.
I mean, there's more to life than wrestling.
Right. And I mean, hey, if you want to
But
be
if
a
you want to,
wrestler,
do it.
be a wrestler. But take a couple of years, take a year and a half, and get some kind of a vocational degree. That way, if that don't work out,
You
you
have
still
something
got
to
a
fall
good
back on.
career. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because you know, like people, what else was it Rick Steiner or Scott Steiner? I think it was Rick Steiner talking about, you know, he had quit wrestling or whatever, and he had reactivated his realtor's license, and now he's a real estate agent again and shit.
When his kids ask him, "Do you not
Yeah.
like coming to my games
Yeah.
and stuff?" Yeah.
And so, you know, he made the choice to, you know, and I don't know if all of them have a backup like that. Like, I know they probably save their money now. I
Not
don't know if
very
they
many of them do.
invested it.
Wasn't the nature of the business back then.
And I think now,
Not even now either.
it's different because they do have more of like a school or a stepping stone to get you there. Before it was just like, I'm gonna be a wrestler, I'm gonna go hang with so and so, they're gonna teach me the rope. Now we have schools, you have actually programs.
Back then, it was you
know-
walked in, guy looked at you, said, "Your name's such and such.
Yeah.
You're wrestling such and such, and you're going to lose in 5 minutes."
Yeah, you know, like with the performance center and like all the stuff they have now, like it's kind of like, you know, you can work your way up from being, you know, a nobody and then slowly graduate and move yourself up. You know, there's ladders to it and stuff. It's not just more luck or
Right.
dumb luck than I think it was before and shit. I'm not saying hard work doesn't play a big
I
part.
think
of it.
it's more embraced, and like it's the talent to do it is more nurtured and taught now,
Exactly, yes,
instead
yes,
of
yes.
just you're thrown out there to do whatever.
yes.
And hope for the best.
Yes, and I think that's one of the big changes.
Well, like I said, a prime example you can see is in the women's division. I mean, look what a little nurturing and love and care did to it. It is phenomenal
Yeah.
now. Like, it is nothing the way it used to be, you know, back in the Attitude Era. Like I said, and don't get me wrong, I love the Attitude Era. I love, you know, eye candy and shit. But these chicks now are athletes, straight up.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
it's
athletes.
yeah. There's no difference between their matches and the guys' matches.
Like, their shit is impressive and shit.
It
like I
is.
said.
It's very impressive. They're impressive just all the way around. Just the evolution of it has gotten great.
That's the best word I think of it. Evolution.
Yeah,
The evolution of wrestling.
And like I said, it's because they've nurtured. So that in saying that, with knowing how the business is done now, I think that, like, again, I would tell them, get a degree in something, even if it's just nursing, or something like that, as a CNA or something, to where you can advance that degree if
If something does happen.
right, you got something to fall back on to where you can come out of it, have a job immediately, and then if you want, to advance that degree, go ahead and do that. But, I mean, as much as anything else now, I would encourage it, because, like, back in the day, it was, if you were a parent and your kid came up to you and said, I want to be a pro wrestler, you were like, what is wrong with my child?
Right.
What kind of a goof am I, right? You know what I'm saying? This kid don't want to do nothing serious.
Yeah.
Now it's considered a respected profession.
Yeah.
It's not just some little sideshow circus.
But do they still
thing.
call it
Right.
pro wrestling? I thought that was a negative
It's
term.
sports entertainment.
There you go.
Well,
There
but the
you
thing of
go.
it is, that was Vince's term.
Yeah.
The thing of it is if you notice on the pay-per-views, or I'm sorry, the premium live events,
Yeah.
they are.
Oh,
You got to get the terminology right now, but they're referring to it a lot more as pro wrestling again.
Yes.
Oh,
And
are
I
they?
like that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Because
it's
that's what it is.
entertaining,
It's pro
but-
wrestling. It's sports entertainment / pro wrestling. I mean, if you want to get technical, the NBA, NFL, and Major
It's
League
pro
Baseball,
wrestling
they're all
entertainment.
sports entertainment too.
Well, it's pro wrestling entertainment.
That's
That's the
it.
way they should say it.
Right.
That's just the way it is.
I agree. Yeah, there's just so many families and stuff and everything that
We could talk about it all day.
we
every
could.
day.
There's so many to go down rabbit holes with and everything, and I just enjoyed doing this one because of the fact of finding out some of these
Interesting
wrestlers that I didn't know were related to
Yeah,
each
like
other.
the family
Yeah.
tree is very surprised. Like,
Yeah.
But it makes sense. I mean, these people spend so much time together, so
Mm-hmm.
I would understand if they got together and had families or they trained together,
Yep.
because you really do spend. It's like any job. Like if you go to work, you spend 40, 50 hours a week at a place. You spend more time there with them than you do your family
Your own
sometimes.
family.
Yeah. So you grow attached to them. You form bonds and shit.
Yep.
You know.
It
So it's
definitely
natural.
happens.
It's definitely just a natural.
And like you said, especially with the way it used to be, all the travel and being on the road together and everything, it's just natural to
to care about somebody after you've
Yeah.
been around them for so long.
Yep. This is, like you said, it's a blood pack.
Mm-hmm.
blood pop.
Well, guys, does anybody have any other suggestions for families? Any other thoughts on families?
I don't know. I don't think I can think of anything else.
I think we covered.
Other than I need Shawn Michaels' kids to hurry up and grow up so that they can be the best family. Besides, I can put them in the top
They got
three.
a
and
long time to go.
I can kick them hearts up out of that top three.
Them hearts are gonna stay number 3. For
I
a
just
long
need
ass time.
one. I just
He
need
said, "I just need
one
one, just one,
descendant.
please."
One descendant of Shawn Michaels to become a professional wrestler, so I can kick that Hart family up out of that
And
top
then Bret
three.
Hart have a grandkid, and then they meet.
That's all right.
At
It's
WrestleMania
still-
100, and shit, the Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, great grandkids.
And all of a sudden, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart come out with their canes.
Oh, Shawn
I
over here.
can't
I'm sexy.
even.
I broke a hip. And it's dribbling down my thigh. I got a pin on the pin.
Bret Hart goes to do his little thing where he bends his knees and everything. And everything starts popping and everything.
Falls down.
Right, falls down.
Can't get up.
Immediately. Shawn Michaels is trying to climb up in the ring to slide in.
And he looked like Vince when he blew out both his.
He goes to do the Sweet Chin music, but instead he had to incorporate Dude Love's Sweet Shin music because he can't get his foot up no higher than his
He's got to
shin.
get where his grandkids to lift his legs up. There you go, Grandpa. Kick him now.
The sharpshooter turned into the I need my bifocal shooter.
All right, we're devolving into madness here. We might want to wrap this up.
Yes,
I
yes. She said I can't. Yeah, I can't help
right.
it, just how it is. The HBK
Yeah.
all the way.
Well, I'm tapped out on this one.
I am
so
too.
tapped out on
After
this one.
that,
Well, if he's tapped out and she's done, you know what that means? That ref has hit that 3 count, so ring the damn bell.